The hard truth, don't hire friends or family.
Curious what business owners are doing to double revenue, have more cash flow, work less hours, and provide a better lifestyle for their family? Dive into the world of business growth that leads to guaranteed wealth every Tuesday with your hosts, Dr. Laura Schwalek and Jerry Kazaya. Grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals.
Welcome to today's interview with Alex Cantaboni. He is the owner of Safe Pro Pest Control. So our question today for Mr. Alex is, what was your business like before you joined Business Builders?
I'm happy to be here, Jerry. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. Well, before I joined Business Builders, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, if not more. Just tend to forget the rest, right?
We
Don't get
always
much
do.
sleep either.
Yeah.
And I remember, just the struggles I had with anxiety and depression, and feeling like I could never get out of, being in the trenches and having to do the work instead of working on the business. I was working in the business.
Yeah. Having a company when you first start, so as everybody dreams, right? As you're a tradesperson or a service person, you know that you're really good at what you do. You're good at your craft. You're good at your trade, and we always think that it's going to be easy owning a business. And the hard truth is, right? It's never as easy as what we expect it to be, right? The hard truth is you want other people to come join you. You want other people to help you with your business. And so, you go back into some of the hard parts of being in a business. And did it make you, were you like moody at all? Were you moody? I
Oh
have
yeah,
to laugh because I know the answers, right?
very very short fused. I'm already Italian, so short fused, and then they cut that in half.
Cut that in half. Yeah, I think so. I think I remember uh, your wife saying she wasn't sure who was coming home at night, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, right? If you had a bad day, what would happen?
Definitely, as soon as I, closed the door to the car, the truck, or whatever I was driving at the time, I definitely already started thinking about all my problems and brought them home, and was short tempered or short with her, or vomited all my problems onto her. So it definitely wasn't a fun time in my life.
Yeah, but I'll bet I remember those days specifically myself, and it's really interesting, right? You're in the trenches, you're doing everything that you can to keep the business afloat, keep your employees busy, and you just at some point you run out of energy, you run out of drive. I mean, you still got the drive to keep it going, but you're looking for answers, right? You know you're close,
Yeah.
right? There's one thing that's maybe missing, or maybe two little things, a tweak here and a tweak there could make all the difference in your life. But
Aaron, how many trucks did you start with when you first started your business? Or I guess you had owned your business for how many years when you started coaching with us?
I think 4 or 5 years was before that. So, I mean, anybody who starts a business, it was just one truck with me, right? And then within 8 months, I hired someone. But then, that's a good question. I think 5 years in, I was probably maybe 6 trucks, if that. Now we're at 19.
Awesome.
that's
So
pretty
Cool.
amazing growth.
being around you guys for what, 6, 7 years,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
yeah, we've done
Nice
that.
Here's-
multiplier.
Uh,
But
And so what
you,
are
you
you?
kind of look at other business owners, going back to there's got to be something better. I think you just start getting brighter and smarter, and you start thinking, well, Bill Gates isn't digging trenches and he's making money. He's not the one actually building my computer, right? So there's got to be a way out there that's better. And I just remember it like it was yesterday. Jerry always has that happy, jolly smile on his face, and it was at the chamber, and he just walked by me and say, "Hey, let me know when you're ready to not work in the business, but on the business. So
And how long did it take you to say, "Okay, Jerry, I'm ready to do that"?
it
How
took a
from the time he
few
had that
months, if
conversation
not
with
a
you?
year. A few months, if not a year. I mean, between, um, already assuming you had to spend money, right? And then time. Finding the time to even want to meet with someone was very difficult back then. Every single minute counted because you had to be out there. You had to answer the calls. You had to be out there doing the services. So when you're like, hey, let me try to build time with this person that I don't have time, he's just adding more time to my day. How do you add more to 70-hour weeks? So it starts
Mhm.
getting in your head of when do you stop? you
When do
know?
you stop? Yeah. Yeah. And I made you the promise. I said, give me 1 year, I'll change your life. Right?
Yep.
1 year. Give me 1 year. And so here we are, almost 7 years later. And has your life changed?
Oh, yeah.
Any regrets?
No regrets. Yes. Sorry. One regret. Should have started earlier. But
So
maybe I wouldn't have appreciated it as much.
Well,
But
that's fair.
that's possible. I mean, I guess when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
yeah.
Mhm.
The truth is, you wanted to grow your income, you wanted to grow the business, you just weren't sure how to do it,
Yeah.
right? And that falls into that's the realm that a lot of people run into. Today we're preparing for, you know, um, truly we're preparing for what happens if scenarios, right? What if the economy does bad? What if the economy does great? Either way, it could be a serious issue for a company that's not prepared for it. I mean, running out of cash flow while you're in hyper growth mode can be just as bad on a company as running out of cash because you're struggling to pay the bills. So both of them are an issue. So I have a question.
Mhm.
So what was the hardest thing you've done in your business to date?
Other than starting a business, right? That's always the first step.
Yeah.
The hardest part was I had hired my what I thought was my best friend at the time, and um, through growth of the company, um, you start figuring out who you should surround yourself with, and finding out that he was pretty much cancer to the company, to my employees. I literally had an employee say, "I'm walking out tomorrow if this person's not gone." So one of the hardest thing was, even if you know in the deep down in your guts it's the right thing to do, it's still really hard to fire your best friend, knowing that you'll never see him again and most likely never get to, um, do life with them again. So you're splitting up, right? Both things. You're firing someone, which is never fun, and you're getting rid of your best friend.
It's a pretty traumatic experience
Yes.
on every
Yeah.
level. You lose your right arm, what you think is your right arm at work, and then you lose your best friend, and now you got no one to hang out with, you got no one to commiserate with, you got no one. Hey, let's go tip a shell of something, right? Man, that's it. I imagine it was a very tough thing. I remember helping you through it. It was
As
tough.
as a result of that, as a result of that, Alex, though, what happened in your business? When you fired your best friend, what were the immediate results, and then what were some of the long-term results of that? Because I know that Jerry and I really coached you for a while on that until you said, "Okay, I'm going to do it." So, what were the results?
Well, before the results, I think the main thing too is you figure out quickly that you have to keep it professional, right? We went in with dismissing the person with what's best for the business, has nothing to do with the person, them, or us, So that made it easier than going in with emotions and people wanting to fight each other, etc. So it went very well. Later on was figuring out how do you replace this person to do what they were doing, but also how do you prevent it in the future from happening. Um, but doing that forced me to understand I needed a sales team and a technician and a management team. So that's what we worked really heavy for a couple months to build that up. And then honestly, we like to try to promote within. So one of my technicians, we interviewed two of them to see if one of them was a better fit for management. So you learn from the previous management what not to hire. And basically, we've, I don't know, 5, 10x our business from there. Uh, there are still headaches and struggles, and I think there is forever, but they've gotten a lot fewer and far between. And just hiring the right people, we've done very well. The team network has, got closer together because, we like to call it cancer, but, because it's just spreads and it's sneaky. But after eliminating that negativity, it's really, done us very well. So we went from, I don't know, 6 or 7 trucks to now 19 trucks. There's total with me and my wife, 37 employees.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Good
That's
job.
great.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So,
Jerry and I have often said that the team that you start your company with is not the team that's going to help get you to from 500,000 to a million. And it's not the same team that's going to get you from a million to 5 million. The team is going to grow. And some people, if their thinking is not as big as yours, they're going to leave. If they're not a fit for your culture, and I know, Alex, you're really good at making sure that your company culture is really flourishing. And so, if there's somebody in the team that doesn't help to build the team, or their core value isn't team, if they like to be the lone wolf, then they're not going to fit.
yeah.
And so, and especially if they're not thinking as big as you are, or they can't see your vision, then it's time to replace them. So, what is it, Jerry, that you always say? Always be,
Always be hiring. Always
yeah,
be hiring. Always be hiring. Always be hiring.
hiring.
Yeah, even when you
Definitely.
don't need anybody. The truth of it of that statement of always be hiring is, let's be honest. If you find somebody, if let's let's say for example that you are hiring every week, you interview every single week of your year. That's going to be 52 experiences of interviews, as opposed to the average business owner really only does interviews when, oh my God, so and so's leaving. We've got to hire somebody quickly, right? And they may do one interview every year or every 2 years. If you've got 52 interviews every single year, or if you're smart enough about it and you can schedule 2 interviews a day or more, then you could have 100 interviews every single year. And I'll promise you, you get really good at interviewing people, and you get really good with your intuition telling you who's going to be a better fit for your company and who isn't going to be a better fit for your company, and you can weed out a lot of folks. But imagine now you have 100 interviews going on every single year. If you find that right person, wouldn't you create a space for them in your company? If
Yeah.
you've interviewed 100 people and you find that one needle in a haystack, man, you bet your tail I'm going to find a place for them, right? In my companies. And I know Alex does that too.
And I'll tag along with that. You never know what could happen in people's life stages. See, their wife gets promoted, husband gets promoted, they need to move out of the country or state, and there's no availability somewhere else. So
Yeah.
always having that job pool open helps out with that. Or, we've had some people get injured and they can no longer do the job that we wanted them. So,
Yeah.
um,
In our case, we
And
lost.
then,
We had there was a traffic accident, and we lost a key employee in our company. And I mean, it was devastating, right? It was absolutely devastating. The good news is, because we had everything systematized, it wasn't a catastrophic. It wasn't a fatal issue for us. But again, that's part of what we share with folks is how to prevent catastrophic issues from being catastrophic to your business and to your life, right?
yeah. And going back to even the digging the trenches and all the headaches, like I sometimes reflect on, I was younger, much younger at the time too, and didn't have a kid at the time. So
Yeah,
Couldn't even imagine dealing with all that stress with a kid at 41 and all that
well,
fun part. So
and you went from working 6 days a week and sometimes 7 days a week to how many days a week do you work now on average?
well, right now I'm only. I mean, if you consider 6 hours a day a full day, but Monday through Thursday, I kind of get at the office around 6, and I try to start wrapping things up around 1 or 2, and then I haven't worked a Friday. I mean, I'll take a phone call here or there, but
Yeah,
I haven't worked a Friday in a couple of years. So, and my goal next year is hopefully to do the same for Thursdays, and just trying to condense my schedule and just do the more important, stuff that I need to get done.
yeah, definitely
So just
working
to be
on the business.
clear,
Yeah,
you don't work Friday, Saturdays, or Sundays. You work Monday through Thursday, six
correct.
hours a day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
that's awesome. And what do you attribute that to? Like, what's the biggest thing that allows you to work so few hours and still have an enormously successful company?
Well, main thing is building up a team, the correct team that's there to support you. Um, I have a really good management, team as well that is there to take a lot of the burdens. And of course, they'll always be hiring later on. You get to enjoy things and hire people and consistently training and making them available so that you have a fully staffed, if not overstaffed, a little bit, to when bumps in the road happen, you get to either put that person in that position, or what's cool about building culture. A lot of the guys step up when a lot of stuff happens. They might be putting 80,
Mm.
90% of their efforts in, but when somebody falls through or somebody gets sick, you'd be surprised. Some of them will put 120% output out there just to get those 1 or 2 days um, covered.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Sometimes when you have a really strong number one, I call him a number one, right? Your guy in charge after you. If you have a strong number two, or even a mediocre number two, and something happens to number one, it's amazing how number two jumps out of his characteristic way of being and excels. And you think, where's that been hiding all
Yeah,
these years, right? Because it's
yeah,
like, what happened to some? When did they get supercharged,
yeah,
right? Because they just sometimes they stifle themselves because they don't think that there's going to be an area for them to be able to grow into,
yeah,
right, or a different position. So they sit back, okay, I'm happy doing what I do, and then when something opens up, they're like, uh, they're like energized. It's great for me to watch. I love
yeah,
seeing that. So
The nice thing also about always be hiring is that you can continue to hire better and better and better people. What we have found is that each time we fire someone or each time someone leaves, we find somebody who's even better than they were. I mean, I've seen it so many times. And Alex, have you seen that as well? Is that also true for you?
yeah, for sure. Especially, you know, in when you're always interviewing, and you're learning how to interview, and because anybody can say whatever they want in an interview, right? I was the best here, I was the best there,
I'm
greatest here.
I never take a day off of work.
Yeah,
I never get sick.
yeah,
Right, my kids are always cool. Right, my wife take. Oh, if my kids have to go to the doctor, my wife will take them. Right.
yep. And then you're always the first one. This is the first time, I swear. Um, but as you do that, I think you get to pick and choose and understand. Um, like I said, going back to culture, finding the culture and understanding what people love to do, and putting them in those right positions, and they just seems to flow a little bit better, to find better teammates, etc. But yeah, there's a lot of rock stars out there, and if you're not constantly looking for them, you're just not going to find them. You just kind of have blinders on, and you just kind of get complacent with what you have. But there's always someone out there that can do better, just in general, just in life, even in leadership, even in growth of company. I'm not the biggest company in the world, right? There's a lot bigger pest control companies. There's always someone better out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really about comparing yourself to yourself,
Yeah.
doing the best that you possibly can do, and yet learn from everyone.
Yep.
So how long did it take you to actually start seeing results, getting the results you were hoping for with your business and with your life?
Well, I mean, if I recollect, I
I
think
mean,
immediately.
you are getting older, so
Yeah.
we got to worry about your memory a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
Um, I mean, it depends on what level of results you're talking about, right? Because there was a lot of things also in the beginning that were emotional results for me, right? Depression, anxiety, creating the team. It wasn't just all about money. It was about creating structure. I think I remember one of my highest anxiety was like, "Oh, you asked for me to sit here in a room for 5 hours." I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that?" Right. But that structure created meetings every Wednesday, blocking off an hour. So a lot of the things some of the basic business stuff happened immediately. Creating business structures, SOPs, right? Um, and
Cost of
then
goods
I'm
sold.
also really good at implementing things right away. Luckily, I had a basic enough team. What I mean is people that I would tell them what to do and they did it, right? So that was nice. But I think our employee handbook was maybe 6 or 7 pages long. Now it's 30, just things like that. Saving money, advertising, a lot of things that we could implement and deploy within the first meeting we had inside of this,
Yeah.
from
Beautiful.
spiritual to physical to business,
Yeah.
because a lot of times you need to be able to take care of yourself to focus on that. And later on, as you have more time and freedom from not having to actually do the services, you replace that with other things you taught us. So it was kind of like a big snowball. The snowball was small and then it just kept rolling and just kind of came together and just became a big monster in a good way.
And now, I don't know, I'm going to go out on a limb. Would you say that probably one of the biggest benefits to your life is this little guy? What's his name? Luca?
Oh yeah, it's fun. Well, yeah, it's great to be financially free and be able to do what I can for him as well as for myself and my wife that I never had. With my parents, they were always, paycheck to paycheck. So it's really nice to have the freedom to be able to let him even just do basic stuff, go to sports because we can afford a pair of shoes, etc. But I also, you know, something we didn't talk about is one of the hard truths too was um, I couldn't. I woke up every morning. When can I sell this damn thing? You know, that was my thought behind it. I need to get to this number. When can I sell it? Forget everything else. Who cares about the team? Who cares about whatever? And then later on, as you grow it and you do it right and you set those things in place, like now it's how much more value can I bring to the team to make as much money as possible for them? Now I care about them. Now I have no thoughts about selling whatsoever. So that also helps because now they're taking on most of the burdens, but split between 37 people. So their burdens don't feel heavy
Yeah.
either because it's split between 37 people and coming together as a team and being able to handle those things.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the job, at the end of the day, it's still a job,
Correct.
right? We got to remember that they still have, no matter how good or how bad your company is, all of the employees still need to work. They still need a job. They still, and unfortunately, work is a four-letter word, right? So it can't always be butterflies and unicorns, right? Someone actually has to be doing the widget stuff, right? And if it's done properly from the management side of it, from the owner side of it, right, then we can turn it into at least it's a pleasant widget making or widget servicing process, and it's not as burdensome as, oh my god, I gotta go back to that hellhole again this morning. It's the bane of my existence. I hate going to work. I mean, life is too short to hate where you work. Life is too short to hate the company that you've created, right? How do we turn it into the gem that it needs to be, so that not only does it benefit you as the employer, but it also gives your employees a great reason to get out of bed in the morning, right? Like in our company, we own an automotive service company, and so we instilled the culture in our business is we don't do oil changes and tire rotations or brake jobs. What we do is we save lives, right? Imagine if you're an automotive technician and your mission is not, here, you're going to go fix this car today. No, you're going to save you're going to save this family's lives.
You're going to
You're going
keep
to
them safe.
you're going to keep
Yeah.
them safe, keep them
Hmm.
alive. This vehicle will never have an accident that's caused by a lack of maintenance or because we didn't service it properly. I mean, that's a whole different charge for I mean, a mission, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mission.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep people safe today. And I mean, I don't know, in our place it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And I know it makes a difference in your company culture as well.
Yeah. It does.
So it's beautiful. And we do that through daily meetings and weekly meetings and monthly meetings, and you have meetings how often?
Our main meeting is once a week. In the mornings, we do a quick 5-minute powwow just to get people ready and inspired, or hey, let's not do this real quick, but every
So who
day.
does that on Friday when you're not there?
My manager, Brandon.
Excellent. So he could probably do that more often.
Yeah, we kind of subdivide it. A lot of times he might even do like the hey, let's not do this again, and I'll come in and say this is why we do things and purpose and
Yeah.
I'm more on the motivational leader side. He's more of the policy holder, you know. I'll just enhance that. So we kind of good cop, bad cop sometimes, and
Yeah,
sometimes it's reversed.
you're mainly the cheerleader.
Yeah,
Keep everybody charged up.
yeah,
Absolutely. Bravo. Bravo.
Well, and that's part of being the visionary for your business.
Mhm.
Is that's part of what the leader does is it helps keep people so that everybody's going in the same direction. So that's, I mean, that's you have grown as to be an amazing leader in the 6 years that we've known you.
thank you. Yeah, and I truly care about my team now, and I want to see them succeed. I've been doing this for 22 years in the pest control industry, and just started it because I was like, man, there's got to be a better way, right? There's got to be a balance between good pay, someone that cares about you, right, and um, still have also freedom. They work their butts off, but comparative to our industry standards, we're still working them 20 to 30% less, and making good money and being able to support their family without ever having to go to college. So that's what I'm really proud of, um, is being able to provide that for them.
Bravo. Yeah, that's
That's
perfect.
awesome.
So what's next? What are the next steps for your business?
So the next steps for Safe Pro is to get a bigger facility with more parking. That's always been an issue of ours since we provide trucks for all the people that work for us. I've always thought that health is very important in our lives, and it's one of those things where it'd be nice to have a gym in some place if we have the room. Um, I think the other dream for Safe Pro is, of course, adding 2 or 3 more technicians next year, and just having more opportunity. Right, I think we're at a level where some guys that have been with us for a long time want more than just being a technician. So
Mm.
we're gonna emphasize opportunity within the company growth next year. As in, because of Safe Pro, just I own other businesses. I'd like to see those grow a little bit as well. It's nice to have Safe Pro as our, overcoming kind of budget that can support other things. But because of time freedom, I get to create more ideas and give myself more headaches. But we're going into more real estate type investments. Um, but that's fun. It's
Yeah, well,
nice.
that's one of the things that sorry for interrupting, but that's one of the things that Jerry and I teach is how do you get your business to the point where you don't have to be there every day so that you can take the profits from your business and grow even more wealth and perhaps have passive income so that you can create generational wealth so that you can be financially free, as Alex mentioned earlier. So it sounds like that is what you're doing. You're in real estate and so my question is, are you thinking about maybe having more locations or perhaps starting a division of Safe Pro Pest Control in another city or another state?
It's always been in the back of our mind. I think figuring out to have a leader that can create the culture in that other place, right? I don't want to do this interactive culture building. I think you have to be in front of people daily. So that is something, hopefully, by creating these other leaders below us, as in not considered management, might show them what it takes to be a leader and then later on be able to transplant that person to become a leader in a different area, because at some point I'm seeing the trend, where most people that come work for us live up north, but we have clients south, and the logistics of it just isn't going to make sense in the future if we don't apply different direction, different leaderships. But we need someone that can go in there and build a culture. It's not just about waking up and going to work.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yep.
In each of
Not
these
selling, no
episodes,
plans to sell, right?
No, not anytime
he's loving
soon.
his business right now.
Well, and part of it, and I know it's a weakness sometimes to think this way, but maybe it's not right now. One, I'm still considerably young. So, two,
Comparatively.
uh,
Comparatively speaking, you're young. Thank
yeah,
you.
when was your first like business issue? I was 7 years old.
Well,
um, no, one of the things is I think what we've created is very rare in our industry, and to sell would be kind of a failure to some of the employees that love the culture there, because
Mm,
it's culture is not very replicable, right? You can start a business, do any business you want. There's numbers, structures, SOPs, that, but having that culture is very hard to replicate, especially if somebody comes in and they don't have those same standards, so that's one of my fears about if I ever want to sell is trying to understand the two differences and separating myself, but right now I've had no thoughts. I mean, making good money and all my people make good money and I work 3.5 days a week.
life's good. Life's
that's
good.
If I
good.
were sold, I'd have to find something else to fill my time. If not, I think I'll just waste it by sitting on the couch watching TV.
I've believed everything you've said until just now. That one there is like so over the no. You
That's not you. That's not you.
you would find a way to
Yeah,
go hunting somewhere every day.
Yeah, that's true too. Well,
or in different countries or whatever it might be.
Every day.
In each of these episodes, we ask all of our listeners and our watchers to, if there was something that you heard that you said, "Oh, I could probably do that in my business," write it down, and by when will you implement it? So if there's something that you heard was like, "Oh yeah, that was really good," or there was something but I don't remember what it was, then listen to the episode again, write it down and implement it. Where you grow is by implementing. Jerry, wouldn't you agree? That's the best way to grow is implementing. And Alex, you are awesome at that. I remember the time that we were talking about cost of goods sold, and Jerry was ticked off at you because you were on your cell phone. And Jerry said, "Alex, put down your cell phone." And Alex is like, "No, I'm talking to my bookkeeper right now. I'm having her change these categories into cost of goods sold, so I know exactly what I'm doing." And I think Jerry was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I mean, how do you argue with that? You tell people to implement, and he does it on the spot. That's why he's gone from where he started to where he's at today, and the future is nowhere but up for him and his company and his family. I'm proud of him. Very proud of you.
Yeah.
I like to call it taking action. You know,
Yeah,
taking immediate. I know it means the same, but some people might have to hear it that way because I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest flaw is you can know and have the entire knowledge, but if you don't apply it, like today's meeting was, you know, what should we save for in case the storm does hit? You know, so I already text Katie and asked her what our payroll is every month, so I know what to save.
right. And good for you.
Awesome.
And you know, here's the thing: a lot of people think about something so much that they believe that they did it. Thinking about it is not the same as doing it. Not at all. You must actually take action. And the sooner that you take action, the sooner you will get results. It's a pretty simple formula and a process.
Yep.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Alex. I
Yeah.
appreciate you spending some time with us today and sharing your story.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for everything you've done for me.
My,
Our pleasure.
All right.
our pleasure.
Grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals. Share the show and connect with us at bbmmusa.com to submit questions and learn more. That's bbmmusa.com.